with numbers. I thought I was seeing them incorrectly, and I wasn't.
It's as expected and awful. I mean, 7.9% inflation over the past year. And when you look at month over month, 0.8%, that's accelerating. That means this pre-war inflation was getting worse. It's driven almost entirely by gas, shelter, food, but just about everything you buy, everything you touch. You look at the chart here, I can show you, it just looks so ugly. The highest since January 1982. A lot of people had thought this would start to peak maybe in March, but not now, because gas prices have gone up even since then, and food prices likely will too, because Ukraine and Russia are such big wheat producers. So now you've got Putin's war piling on to what was already a red-hot inflation situation.
I mean, this is crazy. It's shocking is what it is. I was driving today. I filled up yesterday. It was like $72 for 15 gallons of gas. $72. Oh, my God. But okay. And are you seeing the stickers? Is everybody seeing the little stickers? I hope you're seeing the little stickers, because when you see them, you can peel them off. They have, I mean, the right wing is, they're diabolical. They really are. They're crafty and they're diabolical. So there's these little stickers now on the gas pumps, and they're little Joe Bidens, and the finger is pointing at the price, and it says, I did that. As if Joe Biden is big oil now. Joe Biden is petroleum. Joe Biden is Citgo. Joe Biden is, British Petroleum. Joe Biden is Royal Dutch Shell. Joe Biden is now Venezuela and Russia and, every oil-producing nation in OPEC. Are you freaking kidding me? The situation we're in, it doesn't actually mean necessarily that there should be massive price hikes. It's just a great excuse for massive price hikes. And so guess what? There are massive price spikes. This is insanity. This is backcrap crazy. And then when you look at the corporate profits for big oil and gas last year, and you look at the profits for giant corporations this year, remember during the pandemic they were saying, well, billionaires just added to their billions. Billionaires got even wealthier during the pandemic. And a lot of us were sitting there going, how'd that happen? This is what happens when too few people own everything. Don't you understand? This is not supply and demand. This is shut up and pay. And I've been telling you this for really, quite some time now, about how it was in the Wall Street Journal of all places, the newspaper of business, big business, was saying there really is no reason for these price spikes, none whatsoever, except that companies can, and so they are, testing the marketplace to see when it is exactly, at what price exactly, will Americans recoil in horror and say, okay, I'm getting an electric car, or okay, I'm not buying that piece of meat, or okay, I mean, and today there was a CBS report. Now this is about as corporate media as you can get, CBS, right? And here they are.
Food companies and some economists say pandemic disruptions, inflation, and high demand are to blame. But others question whether there's more at play. Ricardo Salvador is with the Union of Concerned Scientists, a nonprofit advocacy group.
You're seeing just orders of magnitude greater profit that are not justified by the actual rate of inflation or their increased cost.
We pulled the quarterly reports on Tyson, the nation's largest meat processor. The company posted $3 billion in profit in 2021 and over $1 billion just last quarter. That means profits were up a staggering 48%, even as inflation is hurting American families. A big reason for those skyrocketing profits, a 31% price hike on beef, 20% on chicken, and 13% on pork.
Are we short
This was
of
the company's
pigs?
CEO on an earnings call last month.
We're not asking customers or the consumer ultimately to pay for our inefficiencies. We're asking them to pay for inflation.
In a statement, Tyson told us economists and industry analysts confirm that today's higher meat prices are a direct result of constrained supplies due to the labor shortage, higher input costs for such things as grain, labor, and fuel, and stronger consumer demand. The other major U.S. meat suppliers are also posting similar profits. Some analysts, like Salvador, believe the numbers don't add up.
Well, they're clearly taking advantage. They're profiteering, and we're not the only ones to observe that.
Even President Biden is weighing in, blasting the meat industry in his State of the Union address.
Capitalism without competition is exploitation.
Yes,
It drives
exactly.
up profits.
Just 4 companies control up to 85% of the nation's beef,
Really?
pork, and chicken markets.
That means they can name whatever price they want, and if you want to buy meat, you're paying that price.
So there is nothing to prevent prices from continuing to go up?
Correct. As long as there isn't competition that will help drive down the prices so that they have a reason to actually be more reasonable.
Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, they're trying to tell us that we're eating more now that the pandemic is over. What, you had no appetite for the last 2 years? No, this is gouging. That is what it is. This is nothing but pure gouging, and everybody knows it, and nobody seems to have the laws or the tools on the books to actually stop it. We don't do trust busting these days. We have monopolies. You have four people, 4 companies, 4 CEOs in charge of the entire food supply for the United States of America, in charge of all the chicken, all the pork, all the beef. What do we have? A cow shortage all of a sudden? We have a pig shortage? We're not making enough chickens over here? No. This is the guy who sells the $10 bottle of water after the hurricane. That's what this is. Except the guy who sells the $10 bottle of water after the hurricane, at least you could look at him and say, he's enterprising. It's a startup. But that we do have anti-gouging laws. I say we use them. This is insane, because unless and until we have competition in the marketplace, this is the endless cycle. Now, why are CEOs so busy raising the prices of things? Obviously, because the profits that they're making, the astronomical, insane, obscene profits that they're making, they're using for stock buybacks. Now, why do they do that? Well, because it drives the price of their stock higher. Makes it seem like there's more demand for their stock, but there isn't. They're just buying more of their own stock, making it look like there's a marketplace that is interested in their stock. And then how does the CEO really get paid? Well, he gets paid based on stock price. So it's this endless cycle of greed, an endless cycle of greed. And guess who gets to pay for it? People who need to eat, people who need gas, people who need to, have lunch. You know what I'm saying? It's like, forget supply and demand. This is literally your money or your life. This is literally a stick up. And, nobody, well, people are starting to say it. That's why I played the CBS thing, because it was startling to me to see that. It was startling for even an interview to have happened with somebody who's saying, these numbers don't make any sense. There is no reason. There are no shortages. There's no shortage of supply, and there's no shortage of demand. There's no shortages at all, anywhere, at all. And yet, prices keep rising. And yet, and it's just so funny because, if you go to the homework, there's a whole bunch of information about corporate profits and who made what. And it's funny because, in this one article, they're saying to Walmart, but aren't you supposed to be the value option for people who can't pay more? And they're like, well, if that guy's charging $5, then we'll charge $4.99, and we're still the value option. I'm telling you, until and unless we do trust busting, this is what Elizabeth Warren was all about. And this is why she was my choice in the primary, because anybody who wanted to see this coming could see it coming, and now it's here. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.